If there needs to be money.
We'll call this meeting to order, the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors for February 8th, 2022. Roll call, Mr. Weedbeater.
Leyland,
Here.
Little,
Here.
Schwartz,
Here.
Jelka,
Here.
White.
Here. Have a moment of silence to reflect on our actions of the day. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have an amendment to the agenda removing 7A till further notice.
And Mr. Chair, I was going to ask, I wasn't able to, when I approved this for the agenda, the tax certificate assignment and compromise for the Troman Allen property. I didn't get out to look at it like I'd hoped to, so I was going to apologize to the board, and I already offered my apologies to Mr. Allen to table that for today.
Which one?
That was
Which one's that?
8B and C.
Both of them? Okay.
And just try to do that by next week or whatever, if that was all right.
With those amendments,
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Public comments. Anyone from the public have anything to comment on that's not on the agenda? Come up to the microphone, introduce yourself, name and address, and your business.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. My name is Lisa Smock. Sorry, my address is 301 Marie Ave in Elk Run Heights, and I'm the mayor of Elk Run Heights. I wanted to thank you for letting me speak to you guys this morning and giving me the opportunity to represent the cities of Elk Run Heights and Raymond. I'm here today to ask that you would consider allocating a portion of your ARPA funds to a project that Blackhawk County received to a project that we have going on. We are constructing a new wastewater treatment plant, and I believe our project fits the guidelines for how you would appropriate that money, as well as our project benefits residents outside of just our two communities. It benefits Blackhawk County as a whole as our wastewater treatment plant empties into the waterways in the county. So our project originally was estimated at $7.8 million, and this is a project we've been talking about. I was on council 10 years prior. We were talking about it when I came on council 10 years ago. We've really pushed up the last 5 years. About 5 years ago, we had a bigger push, and that's when we got our first estimate for this plant we're building now at $7.8 million. Our actual costs right now, as of today, are at $11.3 million, and this is a shared project between the two communities. It's a 50-50 split for us. So those numbers reflect that we had a $3.5 million increase in our cost for the plant from our pre-COVID, pre-construction estimates to our actual numbers as of today. Those are due, basically, majority of it's due to the cost of materials, the increase there. We have just over 1,800 residents between the two communities. So we're looking at that $11.3 million to be split amongst just over 1,800 residents and just over 30 businesses between the two cities when you look at our accounts billed. This is a project that's almost cost crippling to our community, and it's in essence been forced on us by DNR regulations. I know many small communities are facing this, but for our specific communities, the numbers that it really equals to each of our residents is that for each account billed in Elk Run Heights, every one of them is going to pay $11,685.32. And for each account billed in Raymond, that number equals $17,000 $859.32. So that is, in essence, a number that is per household that they are responsible for, ultimately responsible to pay for this project, as we have to pass this on to our residents. That number doesn't include interest or service fees on our bonds. When we calculated that number, just to throw out there for you guys, we didn't include that number because we have a 30-year bond. We're paying some down on it. We're using some loss, some general obligation, but most of it is bonded out. If the city of Elk Run Heights, I don't know what Raymond's numbers are on their bond exactly, but for just us, if our bond goes the full 30 years, it adds almost $2 million more to our portion of the project, just in those fees. We're hoping to get that paid off sooner. All of that, I brought a handout I'll give you guys when I'm done. It's all the numbers from start to finish are in here, and you'll be able to look through that if you have any other questions. Mayor Hvac and I definitely have the info for you. I know that the board has many worthy projects throughout the county to consider. I would like to officially ask, on behalf of the residents, councils, Mayor Hvac and I, that you would prioritize our project and help alleviate this financial burden that we have to pass on to our residents by allocating the highest dollar amount possible from your ARP funds. I don't know if Mayor Hvac probably has more to say. Yep.
So you're not specifying an amount you'd like us to consider, just something that we...
Yes, I hate to throw a number out because I don't know where you guys are exactly. I read the article on Sunday. It doesn't really list where you guys are in your spending at this point on it.
Sure. Mhm.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's where we are.
That's fair enough.
She did a great job.
Sure.
Give her applause. Just to give you a little bit of history, a little bit more history on this plan.
Pass this around.
We were, City of Elk Run and Raymond, which, we work real well together. For two communities that expect them to clash, we don't. We do at times, but that's not very much. But anyways, my name is Gary Hvac, 519 West Central, Raymond. Anyways, this started out, we knew the plant was falling apart. It was literally falling apart, and we were basically just repairing concrete patches that were holding the tanks. DNR came in and said that our nitrates were high. Of course, we knew that things were going to have to get done. And like Lisa said, Lisa's numbers are more accurate than the ones mine are more of about. But what we did there is we started, I believe it was back in 2013, way back then. We got an engineering firm, helped design our plant. We went and visited some other plants, see how they worked. And as we were going on, and we were looking at the $6 million project, but you got to remember that's split in half. So that was doable. That was doable for both of us. And then when COVID hit in, all the materials skyrocketed. And I was telling Lisa this morning that I was in the morning of the bid letting. I got up in the morning and I heard Waverly had the news on Waverly, and their plant went $10 million over budget. And I'm like, holy smokes, we go into this bid letting. I think we're going to be shocked. So we got there, told the engineer what had happened. He goes, oh, that's impossible. He goes, that's way too high. And I says, well, it might not be 10 million, but it's going to be up there. And we got all the bids in, and they were all within $500, and we were like around the $4 million increase. That's devastating to small communities. What kind of bothers me the most about this state is that the DNR makes mandates for small towns, but they don't put no money behind it.
They do that for all of us.
Yeah.
They do that for us as
Include us,
counties,
too.
too.
Being in government, you folks know. So what we've done last night, we're in the middle of budget, and as you guys are too. Just for an example, the city of Raymond, we're pretty much going to let out all of our reserves to this project. We are going to be dangerously low at the beginning of this next fiscal year.
How much is that, Gary?
We're looking at about $2 million to put away. And that's money. We have increased our sewer rates We started doing that in 17. We start collecting money, building up a pot. And then we did it again in 2021. We did it twice, as a matter of fact. Lisa gave the number of, around $15,000 per household, $11,000 to $15,000. That's like a second mortgage on people. People that are, I have, as Elk Run does too, we have a lot of elderly in town, and you don't have to include me, but, that can't afford this. So I'm asking on behalf of my town and with Elk Run that we get some help with this. This does fit in the scope of it, of your ARPA monies. We don't come here and ask for money. We usually come here and work with you. We're here now to ask, so I would appreciate anything.
Did you both, I'm assuming, receive ARPA money yourself?
We did. We received $108,000, which is all going to the project.
City of Elkhorn received about 170.
And doing the same with it?
Yep.
Ours is actually going, we're gonna decide during our budget, we really kicked around using it on another, we need to replace the water main. And then it's like a 300.
You need to come up
I'm
here so
sorry.
I can,
I'm sorry.
so the people out can hear.
We have a water main project it's about 300,000, so we're considering using that 170 towards that project because it makes a bigger impact on that than it does our $6 million project. So.
Also, just to let you know, I have been approached by, that'd be the Pointer Township Trailer Court out there about to sewer. There's also some other homes along that road on, what's the name of the road? Osage Road, yeah. They could possibly hook up that if we run the sewer line that way. So there's a lot of possibilities out there. If the DNR were to come to you guys and say, hey, the septic tanks aren't working anymore, you can't do that anymore. And that, as you know and we know, that's a drop of the hat. You don't get a warning. So, at least it's out in that area, it's available. Expansion down the road for businesses, we've got a sewer plant. The best part of the sewer plant, it's expandable. We can build on it, we can expand it. So that's the way it was designed and built with that purpose. So basically, we've got a sewer plant out there that anybody can hook to. And the more people that pay in, monthly bills, the cheaper it is for everybody else down the road.
I would like to see this on next week's agenda for discussion.
I guess a couple of questions. As far as what is your alternative? I mean, you're coming to us asking for some funding or whatever, but let's just say that that's not possible or something with our projects that we didn't do that. What are your options or what are you looking at doing?
We depleting our funds.
Just
We have to deplete our funds because right now we're looking at bills around, well, we're not done yet. I mean, we don't even know what the final cost is gonna be because we've already had a couple of overruns. And the next fear is copper, electrical wiring, computers. That's the major stick up right now. We were warned about that might be the delay. The construction's going along fine. But our objective is to just plain help us out because we're talking anywhere from, as of Latwell's in our budget meeting last night, they're looking at somewhere around 150 just for sewer on the bills. Go ahead.
So yeah, that would be the answer to your question. That we have two bonds already, SRF loans in place. So the city of Elkhorn, we have a GO bond, which will use, some general fund as well as any other funds we can appropriate to pay that bond yearly. And then we have a 30-year bond that has to be billed for it. Those will be reflected in our bills. Our bills for Elkhorn Heights will be an additional $58 a month if it is exactly the numbers we have that we're working with today. It'll add $58 a month just to our sewer bill portion. And for Raymond, it adds $78 this fiscal. And I noticed theirs goes up to about $92 next fiscal year to make their bond payment, if they do the full bond
And that's
with
just-
the numbers we have paid down on them. Did that answer that question more fully for you?
Yeah, I was gonna say, good enough. I guess you'll figure it out, kind
Well,
of,
yeah.
is really
We
what you're
have
gonna
to,
have to do.
yeah, we have to
but
pay it.
Yeah.
We are
We
looking
have deal,
at,
or bonds for it.
yeah, when this came about, we were looking at, the DNR gave us the notice. We were looking at a $1,500 a day fine. That's devastating. Me, I'll just shut the doors to the town and you guys can have it. I don't want to do that, you know. Because either that or to build it. So we went ahead and built it, and then the monies that were projected were affordable. I guess what I'm.
They were
maybe-
hard for us.
Yeah, they're
but
very hard.
But we could figure out how to make it livable to us, at that point.
7.8 million.
My
was-
Lafayette Road project that I've gotten money for, that's probably gonna have to be wiped out because of that. That $4 million range, that was the cost of Lafayette to rebuild it. Can't do it. So, I mean, I gotta put a limit somewhere. But
And you're gonna deplete, you said, your reserves, the 2 million in
later
reserves.
reserves were gonna be
Yeah.
dangerously low, but our treasurer advised us that we could probably get by with it on the end of the construction to when we get our money back from the county, property taxes. We can just start building that up, but all projects, except for whatever maintenance we need on culverts and roads, whatever, that's all we're gonna leave that in there for those, and that's it. No ground equipment, no building of the roads. Get this thing lowered.
You getting uncomfortable with the public comments?
A little bit. We're a little beyond where we're usually at for something that's not on the agenda. I think it would be appropriate if we're going to continue this discussion that, as Supervisor Trelka suggested, we go ahead and set an agenda item, and maybe where these two and perhaps others can be available to answer questions at a meeting.
Sounds like a better idea might be a couple supervisors sitting down with them and working on a plan maybe on what they might be able to do or come up with.
Have you met with Intercog?
Alternatives.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's
That-
an idea, but I was gonna say, have you
Yes,
met with Intercog
because-
and stuff on
Yeah,
that?
they can't let all those other projects go either, or there's gonna be people screaming their heads off. That Lafayette is horrible out there. That needs fixed now.
We did get, yeah, I did get money from MPO for that
Okay.
generous amount of money.
I think maybe a conversation between a couple of supervisors
Right.
afterwards to determine kind of the plan of action would be appropriate then as well. At some point, it would need to come back as an agenda item if that's indeed a possibility in the
Or
future.
it may even have to be
Better
two.
plan.
I guess I'm thinking if there's more questions, you don't always want to ask the questions the same meeting that you want to make any decision on. I don't anyway.
That makes perfect
But
sense.
to get
Well,
more information, because that's was, when Dan asked about it, I said I'd not seen anything or talked to either of you or anything about it, so just hearing initially what your request was, I didn't know if you wanted to do it by email or be
Well,
present, but
we never
whatever.
received an email in the first place from the monies that when that letter came out. We did,
He's trying to ask us to speed up. But
Go
would you
ahead.
like us
That's
to
all
set
right.
a meeting with
we're open to
you
that.
guys?
That's-
Just to.
Yeah, why don't
I'll just-
I think there
Let's
should
split right
be
here.
follow-up with
Sure.
with a supervisor in these two, and then we go
And we can
from
look at
there.
this and get back to you too. Maybe we'll have questions after reviewing this. More
Okay.
questions.
Thank
Sounds
you
good.
Sounds
so
good.
much for your
Thank
time today.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry for your,
Any other public comments online? Hearing none, we'll move on to claims and payments. Mr. Perry.
This week's expenditures total $313,441.02. The larger departments consist of the Sheriff's Department at $41,222, the Medical Examiner at $15,862, excuse me, and Secondary Roads at $55,108. Everything looked normal.
Make a motion to approve?
second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor for the resolution to pay the bills. This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is receive project updates from department heads and elected officials. Morning, Kathy.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas, County Engineer. All the roads are in good condition, both the paved system and the gravel system. I did want to give you a brief update on the federal money that was authorized last fall. If you recall, the Infrastructure and Investment and Jobs Act, the Iowa DOT has formed a committee with cities and counties, MPOs, RTAs, etc. We've had a working group. It's a small group. We've met once so far. I just thought I'd give you some brief information that came out of that meeting. The engineers, we are looking at, or we are promoting that there be expanding additional monies for ADA ramps and curb cuts. We don't deal a lot with that in this county, for example, but other counties, that is a much larger concern for them. We would also like to see more money spent on on safety programs. There's a HSIP program that the Iowa DOT puts money into. We're asking that more money be pushed into that program in the future. Several other programs, but as I said, it's just some ongoing discussions right now. The only real fact, or the only real impact known for sure now, is that the Iowa DOT estimates they, of course, will not have enough money, state money, to swap federal money to cities and counties as they have done in the past. In the past, they swapped up to $120 million a year. Now they're projecting they will only be able to swap about $50 million, meaning that much of this money, new money, will continue to be federal money as it comes to us, cities and counties, and to the MPO, etc. So that's not necessarily, we've all worked with federal money in the past, so it's not necessarily a big deal, but we'll be being kept up to date on what that will mean in the future. And I will keep you posted. Can I answer any questions at this time? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Any other department heads or elected officials? Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning. Amanda Pleasantmeyer, Human Resources Director. So I just wanted to give a brief update. We've recently completed our Equal Employment Opportunity reporting. It was due last month. It's normally due in October every other year, but with the pandemic, they pushed that out. So I wanted to then also bring to your attention that we'll be using the data from the 2020 census and the EEO for reporting that we completed to look at our county's Equal Employment Opportunity and Affirmative Action Plan. This is a 2-year plan, and it's time for us to look at that again and revisit those goals, look at new goals, and kind of look at how we measure up to the state and with our populations in the county when it comes to populations at work. So I will be providing information to you all, and also would love to sit down with some of you to talk about some diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. So I'm just kind of heads up on that. And other thing I had a question about was Policy Review Committee. I don't believe we've met for a while. And I think our attorney, we've got some changes from the state that we need to probably look at our policies. So I'll be sending that notice out as well. I believe Supervisor Little, Supervisor Schwartz, is that correct still?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Any questions at all?
Thank you, Amanda.
No, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll move on to minutes approved for February 1st, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Consent agenda by resolution.
I'll make
So
the-
moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on any of the items? This is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
White,
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is 7B. This is a resolution that the agreement for the DOT initiate a detour of primary highways onto local roads between the Iowa Department of Transportation and Blackhawk County during the period July 25th, 2022 to August 25th, 2022. Detour US 63 on West Rock Road to Iowa 21 be approved as recommended by Catherine Nicholas, County Engineer.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this?
This is, the DOT will be doing a white topping project from Hudson to Trier this summer. I would say this timing is approximate, depending on when the contractor gets started. this isn't a way of the DOT reimbursing residents, people who use the roads for user delay costs. They will be using our roads. They will be traveling out of their way. Obviously, the DOT cannot pay those drivers any money, so they give it to the counties as something. It's not a lot of money. I'm guessing it's going to be between $3,000 and $5,000. But I would recommend that we be allowed to sign the agreement.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
This,
Is it ever negotiated for any more? Probably not.
No, it's based on vehicle
Usage?
miles, vehicle traffic volumes, vehicle miles traveled out of way, and then based on the gas tax. So
Okay.
as far as I know, there's no negotiating.
Okay, just curious if it was because they're using our roads and it's hard on the road sometimes, that additional use.
The good thing is we typically do not ask them, we do not have to reimburse them when we use the DOT roads for our detours.
Fair enough. Thank you.
this is a resolution. Please answer your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
White,
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is 8A, a resolution that the tax sale certificate assignments for 4 vacant lots pursuant to Iowa Code 446-231 of the Code of Iowa would be approved, and said certificates of purchase of tax sale be assigned to A-Line EDS Incorporated with total property tax amount of $8,654 with a $10 assignment fee per parcel as recommended by Rita Schmidt, County Treasurer. Morning, Rita.
Rita Schmidt, Treasurer. I was approached by A-Line EDS for the request for the assignment. They are willing to pay the full amount that's due on the parcels, so the vacant lots are located on Roof Avenue, and I would recommend that go ahead with assignment. I would work with them.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Any questions? This resolution, please answer. Your name is called.
Jelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is 8D, motion that the Iowa Individual Health Benefit Reinsurance Program 2021 annual reporting form be approved and the chair be to sign as recommended by Tim Jameson.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Next, the motion to appoint Kingsley Botchway II as a representative of the Blackhawk County Health Department Board with a term ending December 31st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this item?
Chris and I, we had an opening several months ago. Chris and I conducted interviews of candidates. We ended up with several really good candidates. Kingsley was one of them. And now that we have this latest vacancy due to resignation, we recommend that we appoint Kingsley to be a representative on the Blackhawk County Health Department Board.
And he is the HR director, I think, at Waterloo Schools, right?
Yes, and he was going to attend the meeting over Zoom if he wasn't tied up. Kingsley, are you there? They've got a lot going on at the schools. They're trying to hire people, so I assume that's why he was unable to make it.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion?
Mr.
I'll just
Chair.
add to what Dan said, that we had really great candidates and really appreciate everybody that did apply. And it's encouraging that we've been seeing, not just for the Board of Health, but even other boards, really excited and talented people wanting to serve the county.
Thank you, Chris.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to mention that Kingsley is a former election official in Johnson County, did a wonderful job there and is very highly respected, and I'm very happy to see him on the board.
Thank you, Grant.
Thank you.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Next is a resolution to approve the request for purchase of capital equipment with ARP funds submitted by Al Yu, IT Director, of
Second.
$10,291.21 for laptops and docking stations. Al?
Hey, Board, Al Yu, IT Director. These are computers for our department. I feel that they are essential for us to move forward. Any questions?
No, appreciate the email.
Thank you, Al. This resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Trelka,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next is discussion, possible board action, Phase 2 ARP funding for fiscal year '23. James?
Back on January 13th, we did a mass approval for almost every department except for a couple. And I wanted to readdress these before we finalize the budgets on the 22nd. So we had our maintenance department. One of the biggest issues with this list prior on the 13th was that I had a lot of things that were pivoting on the space enhancement study. So I met with Rory, and Rory can talk a little bit about these projects as well, but we felt like we pulled off everything that was kind of hinging on that on the space enhancement study, and that's what we can actually get done without that being said. The second department was the medical examiner transportation vehicle.
Just to be clear, so all of those items, if you know if that 357,005 we pulled off?
I'm sorry, can you repeat your question?
I said, so are some of those items are ones you're pulling off, correct?
No.
No, you're leaving all those in?
Nope,
You're just
that is an updated list.
Okay, 'cause I knew there were some you talked about, okay.
Yep, that is an updated list. And then the second department was the medical examiner transportation vehicle.
Okay, yeah, sorry. That's not
Mr.
in here,
Given?
you're just talking about that one, okay.
Good morning, Board. Rory Giving, Maintenance Superintendent. Like James had indicated too, this was a much larger list, but several of the items we felt that were kind of hinged on the results of our space study that's in process right now. And we're hoping to have that completed by the end of March.
Do you have those in front of you? So, like I said, to review, like with the public, what we're removing from that?
Yeah, I can go through
Or
some
what
of
we
those.
did, maybe?
Yeah.
Refresh my mind, too.
Typing is kind of small here, so bear with me. I guess one of the big items would be over at our Pinecrest facility. Some of you may recall in years past, but on our 5th floor, we were looking at tying in the HVAC system on the 5th floor west to the existing HVAC system throughout the building. That's about a $500,000 project. That's one that we really wanted our mechanical engineer throughout this process to take a hard look at and make sure that that number is still appropriate, and or if there's any other suggestions that they might have based out of the study. Another one was the pneumatic controls here at the courthouse. Again, HVAC related, really an energy efficiency related project. With regards to our existing system here at the courthouse, we have a mixture of digital controls and pneumatic controls within our HVAC system, and this would be looking at removing all the pneumatics, which is air operated, and to improve our efficiencies and comfort control throughout the building. And that was a fairly large project as well. Same thing over at the
How much? Fairly large?
That one we had 150,000 on there.
Thank you.
Over at the jail, we had another item kind of similar to here at the courthouse with regards to the HVAC system and improving the efficiencies throughout the building, eliminating the pneumatics over there as well, and looking at our head end system and doing some upgrades to that. That one I do not have a cost to. Sorry, this list is really small.
Do you have that, James, in any year?
In my office, I do.
Oh, but not
unfortunately,
in there,
not
okay.
With me.
All right.
And then we had also over, and this is another one that's going to be reviewed through the spaced assessment. We didn't have a cost to it, but it was looking at the ADA compliant restrooms for the health department over on 5th floor.
So that's just removing them for now until we have that space assessment.
Right.
And taking a relook. Okay. Was that a higher end cost too?
That is going to be a higher end, just the way that that 5th floor is constructed. Each of the restrooms, with the exception of maybe the clinic restrooms, are actually elevated, so you have to step up into those. And they're constructed that way because you know, the way the building is constructed, the piping is underneath the flooring, so that's a pretty extensive project to get that corrected.
Because I think we talked about ADA being very important as far as things that we do, but this is just delaying it till we have more information.
Yep, and seeing what comes out of this site survey, that location particularly, is that still going to be conducive for the health department? Is there going to be any recommendations from the architects and engineers on maybe a relocation? Nothing's really off the table at this point, so we really felt that holding off on that would be in our best interest.
Will they have some of those results for us at the end of this? Like, I think they talked about March possibly having us information for options and that type of thing, at least for a first review.
That's their goal,
Is
is
that part of
to
this?
present some options. And basically, if you know, they're looking at square footage, they're looking at space. And so does the existing space meet their needs? If not, what are some options? And that's what we hope to see from this study.
So these really might be delayed even beyond that.
It's possible.
Okay.
It's possible, yeah.
All right.
Those are kind of the big ticket items. As you know, we did leave on, as you can see, the upgrade to the HVAC software for Pinecrest. We left that on the list. The reason I did that is because that existing software poses some risk to the county with the fact that it's old, it's a Windows 7 engine type program, and so there is some security, potential security risk there that we see. And it's been quite some time since that system's been updated with regards to the software as well. So we chose to leave that one on there because it really does pose a risk. The coolers that are on the existing list, you know, over the years, as you may recall, we have done work to those coolers over the years. We replaced the condensers, the compressors. We're seeing some issues with the floors in those coolers. And so that's what we could consider a critical piece of equipment for the operation of that jail. And if you recall, in the phase 1 list, we also had some equipment on that as well, like the washers, dryers, those types of things that keep the jail functioning. In the parking lots, pretty clear. I mean, we're in pretty good despair in some of our areas in our parking lots. If you notice, particularly over at the employee lot, we've had to make some repairs over there. And so what this consists of is essentially milling those parking lots and then putting a hot asphalt mix and HMA on top, and just resurfacing all of those parking lots. All of them, meaning JCS, the courthouse main parking lot, and then the employee lot. One could argue that, you know, based off of this assessment or the space study, depending on what they come out with, is there going to be any impact with our parking lot? And there is that possibility. So that is potentially that those items could change based on what we receive back from our study, but we do, at least I feel that we need to have those on the list because I do feel that those do pose a safety risk.
Okay.
Any other
Thank
questions?
you. No, that's good.
James?
Thank you.
The only other one that we have left to discuss would be the transportation vehicle for the medical examiner. I had a conversation with the CFO of Mercy One, and they were thankful that we had reached out, but they were not interested in lowering the transportation costs for transporting a body down to Ankeny. So I'm still confident that if we were to move forward with the vehicle and contract this out with Dr. Bickley and some individuals that he can find, I'm still confident we can save north of $15,000 a year, and that would be that'd be a pretty short payback period.
And he had staff that was going to, I think, be doing the driving for the most part.
Yeah, it sounded as though it was going to be off-duty firemen or that would do the transportating. So
Sounds like there's quite an interest in them actually doing it, from what I understand. I support this, and if it doesn't work out, we just turn around and sell the vehicle and go back to what we were doing.
that was the other comment too. The gentleman I spoke with at Mercy One that said if we do decide not to move forward with those services, that's fine. I mean, he can definitely sit in the shadows, so to speak, and just wait for us to kind of test this out. And if it doesn't work, we can, in fact, go back to what we're doing. So,
Yeah. It's like good relationships are for, so that works. Yeah, sounds like a good
Thanks for
good
doing that,
solution.
James.
Thank you. And you checked on the insurance. I know that was relatively inexpensive anyway, as long as.
that one was a tough one. We don't know the vehicle that we would purchase. So without having that specific vehicle, we don't know exactly what the insurance would be. It was estimated about $1,500 a year. And then without knowing the vehicle, it's kind of hard to know exactly the dollar amount for transportation, for gas mileage, all that kind of stuff. And so I did my best, but I'm still confident that would be saving north of 15. Potentially, if there's more than 55, or if funeral homes costs do increase, that would just be more money saved on the county side. So, yeah, I'm confident in saying it's north of 15,000 for sure. So,
Yeah. I think it's good. Good idea. I think it's good for us to try it. Others have had success with it, so I can't see why we wouldn't either. So you
Any
just,
further discussion on this?
yeah, so I would just ask that we formally approve these last two departments and sticking in the budget for FY23.
I make that motion.
second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, this is a resolution. Please answer as your name is called.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz,
Yes.
Jelka,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
White.
Yes, resolution adopted. Next, discussion, county preparedness and possible updates for COVID-19. Good morning, Nafisa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nafisa Boignier, Blackhawk County Public Health Director. So for this week, as of since February 4th, we've had 153 cases. Our percent positivity is at 28.5%, and 66.4% of our residents 12 and under are fully vaccinated. Last week, I reported our data for the vaccinations from 5 to 11 year olds. We recognize that there's a technical error in some of the calculations, and so I do have good news in that our vaccination rate for the 5 to 11 is higher than what was previously reported. So we have about 25% of our 5 to 11 year olds that are vaccinated, at least with one dose, and 19% that are fully vaccinated. So that's good news. And so our apologies for that technical error. On February 15, the FDA Advisory Committee will meet to review data for the Pfizer vaccine for children aged 6 months to 4 years of age. So that's exciting also. One of the things that we were able to do with some of our grant funds is send out a mailer to I think almost every household here in Blackhawk County. The mailer has COVID-19 information. It also has information about the services that we provide. And there's barcode, I think I'm saying this right, but the barcode for to translate to different languages. So we'll have that, people will be able to have access to the mailer in different languages in Spanish and Bosnian. So that's exciting. So if you see a mailer in regards to our health department, that's one of the things that we've been trying to ensure is community outreach, not just COVID related, but also for the other services that we provide. Any questions for me?
Tom? Questions? Chris? Russ? Questions?
No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for the appointment of Kingsley Botchway. Thank you.
Next is any reports or information from the board?
Yeah.
Mr. Trelka.
I wanted to ask the board if, and this request came to me from a citizen of Blackhawk County who's also a Waterloo police officer. He asked if we would entertain an ordinance countywide in regard to catalytic converters, because there's been a rash of thefts of catalytic converters in all of our communities. And basically, and I did a little research on it, it's occurred in other states, other communities. The salvage yards or the businesses that are taking in these catalytic converters would simply be required to keep a log of who's bringing them in. And that would be a useful law enforcement tool, so we could try to mitigate these thefts. It's amazing what they're getting for salvage catalytic converters. So it's a little, not the greatest priority for our board, but I talked to our county attorney, our representative for the county attorney about it, Mike, and he recommended I run it by the board and see if we have a desire to walk down this road. And I'd sure like to see us research this, pursue it, and consider an ordinance.
Yeah, I don't have a problem entertaining this.
For just further research on it, right?
Research, and then we'll come back with a recommendation and how enforceable it is. And we have to gauge the interest or the, from the businesses, see if they are willing to engage in this. Yeah. But I think it'd be
the businesses that are accepting.
Yeah. I think it'd be a good ordinance. And keep it simple. I don't like complicated ordinances.
And if I may ask you a question, when you talk about keeping a log, you're speaking of, they would do that independently on their own. It would be available if, say, law enforcement or somebody had an inquiry then, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So they wouldn't really be doing it, though.
It wouldn't be the county having to maintain that is what I'm...
The business. It'd be incumbent upon the business to maintain a simple log. Yeah, simple log.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Trelka?
Nope.
Linda?
No, I was just going to ask James. I was going to say the phase 1 and phase 2 projects now, what is the total that we'd have for those now that we have decided on or approved? I know we were a little short of, since we're looking at options too, or considering other options for use of the rest of our funding, I guess. One of the things that I think about a month ago, we saw that there was availability now for roads and bridges to use, I think, up to $10 million. So I wanted Kathy to probably make a presentation to us as a board and ask you to do that for the roads and bridges that maybe would be something that we should be considering too for having in our ARP funding. What are your thoughts on that?
When would you want that presentation?
I don't know. I just thought maybe we should, the sooner the better if we start funding using other dollars, so maybe we needed to look at it, but you tell me. I just wanted to mention it today and see what the board thought, if that wasn't something we should be looking at.
Yeah, prioritize them.
I guess before the heavy summer season kicks off, so by June 1st.
Well, if we're not
going
going to give away more ARPA dollars, but if we're going to start giving away ARPA dollars, I think we need to have the list of items we're looking at before we start giving away.
I could have something put together probably in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that works for me. Does it for you? Okay. And I'm sorry, James.
Nope, you're totally fine. So to date, we are at $5,509,527. Now, that's phase 1 and phase 2. However, we have a few projects that are larger projects that we're breaking down in phases, and that is our conservation Cedar Valley Nature Trail, and then some expenses in Washburn. So not all of those are counted towards that, but we are looking at adding roughly another $4 million to that. So we're just shy of $10 million.
Okay, that's helpful. That's what I wanted to know, if we were to fund everything and did go with that, where we're at.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bet.
Thank you for that update, James.
So a balance of about 15 million.
Yep,
We have,
minus 10.
Entertain a
roads.
motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.